I like to use a mantra that goes like this: start fast, go deep, and strong. What do I mean by that? Well, it's something you could use. In coaching, I like to start the session fast, get right to it, go deep to the nuggets of what we need to work on, and end strong so the client can leave with momentum and clarity and strength. Because when they leave a coaching session, they have a lot of other things competing for their attention. Now, if you want to apply this, something that I've been using with great success in my coaching, you want to apply this in your own life, there are some ways you can do that. We're coming to the close of 2020. For some of you, that is a great reason for celebration. So this is a good time to talk about how might we end strong. Some of you just want to end a day strong. Some of you want to end a work session strong, or a conversation strong, or if you're a therapist or a coach or a counselor or consultant, you want to end a session or an engagement strong. So these little things that I'm going to share with you are good ways to do it. The first one, I use it as the avoiding the loose wire syndrome. You can see we recently had some electric work done in our garage, and this is what was left over. But this reminds me of sometimes when we leave a conversation, we leave these wires just kind of dangling. Think about the last conversation or the meeting you had where there wasn't a lot of clarity. Maybe you didn't end strong and there were things that were just left dangling, which can be dangerous, especially with electricity or some of the topics you might be covering. So one way to make sure that you end strong is to put a cap on those wires, like this. To do something in an action, in a purposeful way that ties things together. Now, I like to do things like this by asking simple questions like, what were your insights? And what are you going to do next? And what could get in your way? And how would you deal with that? To prepare people to move into the future. I also like to end strong by sometimes putting a bookmark. So if you have a working session, sometimes I have a writing session and I'll be writing on my book and I want to know what was the last thing in my mind that I was thinking I would do next. So I call that a bookmark and I jot that down so I can come back to that. So I put a cap on that session either by writing it down and leaving myself breadcrumbs or a bookmark, or I leave a cap on a conversation that says, okay, let's cap off what we just learned and let's shoot you into the future and get you ready for what you're going to do in the next hour. So that's one way to end strong. Cap it. Figure out what's next. When will it happen? Another way to end strong is what I call the dress rehearsal. So you put on your little dancing shoes, and while you're in that session, either coaching, with therapy, in the meeting, you actually do a dress rehearsal. You practice what will the conversation be like. Before you finish something, some preparation, and you're going into a meeting or a conversation where you want to use this end strong, and your thoughts by practicing. Go to the mirror, say what it is you want to say over and over. When we're in session and I ask my clients to do a dress rehearsal, it's to get them ready. So when they leave, they've already danced the dance. We've gone through the conversation, we've used the words, we've practiced the responses so that they're better prepared to go into action. Here's the third one. We've covered how to cap it or how to close the gap and make sure there aren't loose wires, how to do a dress rehearsal, and the final one is about reflection. Ending strong can mean ending of a year, a day, a learning season, a session, is to sit down with a journal. This is a journal that I recently used to finish up a course that I went through during 2020. And whenever I would finish a learning session or a coaching session, I would stop and take notes. There are 3 questions I use, and if you've been in my client base, you know these questions. The first one is, what did I learn, or what were my insights? The second one was, what went well? And the third one is, what will I do next? So if you're journaling, journal with a purpose. Graph out, sketch out, take time to reflect. We know, research is in, when we take time to reflect and really note what's going on inside of us, it flows through our actions and helps us end a session strong, so when we go out from our journaling, we can act more astutely. So I've given you today 3 ways to end strong. There's also a bonus. Below this video, you're going to see a link. If you would like to use the Soul Salt completion questions as a cue for you to use for your journaling of how to end strong with 2020, so that you have a sense of completion, you cap off the wires, you either get your dance shoes ready or you journal. You can use these cues to help you think through, how am I going to complete and feel better, like I've ended strong with 2020, and get you ready for 2021. I hope these 3 things have assisted you. They're just 3 of the things that I use consistently. If you have an idea of how you end strong, please write it below. And in the meantime, go out there, start something that's worth ending strong on. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you.